Okay, we're in section 24. It's basically solving a quadratic equation. And typically we're going to start with what we know best, which is using the zero product rule. There's other ways of doing it though. And I want to point out that the other ways of doing it, there's going to be what's called the square root method. Certainly we described that in lecture to you. There's certainly videos on the side here if you need to watch those videos again, or simply just rewatch the lecture if you have to. And then there's this quadratic formula business. All right. So when we go through the prop set over here, what I want to do is make sure you understand what you're reading, and we'll go through that. All right. We'll go through that. All right. So I'm going to switch to the whiteboard now. We're going to do the examples, and just give me a moment to do so. And again, the reading is really what we're trying to get across to you, that if you can read and understand what you've read, there's a chance you'll be able to answer the question, right? If you're reading it, don't understand what's been said though, it's going to be really tough to answer the question. All right. So let's take a look at it. And, certainly I'm going to look at number one. And I know there's an answer there. I'm not saying there's not an answer over there, but the first thing is that, write the equation in standard form. And someone says, what's the standard form for a quadratic equation? The standard form for a quadratic equation is pretty simple. It's a x squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. That's standard form. So they say, write the quadratic equation in standard form with the coefficient of the x squared to be positive. Well, they went a little bit further than that. They said the a has got to be a positive number now. All right. Then they say, name the a, b, and the c. It's going to be a really important first step. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull this on the side, and I want to see if I can do it. All right. I want to see if I can. Whoops, sorry about that. I want to see if I can do this over here. So let's see. And the first thing I want to do is I just want to see if I can get it in that form. And I got to simplify it now. So it's going to be 3 and x minus 1 squared. I'm hoping you get a little better at multiplication, but if not, take your time. I want to point out what x minus 1 squared means to me. It means it's written down twice. No, you don't need to write it down twice, but it's written down twice. What does it give you? X squared minus 2x plus 1. All right. And I'm going to still work on the left side, by the way. So what do I get? I get 3x squared minus 6x plus 3. Let's go to the right side. What do you get over there? 2x squared. Let's see, minus 3x minus 6. All right, down again. I get 2x squared minus 3x minus 6. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to subtract 2x squared from both sides. I'm trying to get a 0 here, by the way. I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And what would you get? X squared minus 3x plus 9 is equal to 0. I'm going to say that's standard form. Now, granted, I might have made a mistake. I'm not saying I didn't. I'm just saying that's standard form. I've got the ax squared, which is this down over here, plus the bx, plus the c equals 0. And like they want to be, they want the a to be positive, and it is. So what's the a? The a is 1. What's the b? The b is minus 3. And what's the c? The c is 9. Now, again, I can't say this enough times to you. Mistakes happen. Look at the key. If you made a mistake, do the problem again. If I make a mistake, I'm going to erase this and do the problem again. I make mistakes all the time, by the way. Take a look at it and see how we did. All right. So let's see if we got the standard form. And it says x squared minus 3x plus 9 equals 0. She's got that right. They say a is 1, b is minus 3, and c is 9. I'm feeling really good about that now. Let's go to the next one. And I know this might seem like new language to you, but this factoring business, and let me outline this for you. This factoring business is basically just the 0 product rule. Okay, let's do it. How do you do the 0 product rule? Solve for 0. Let's put that first. You get x squared minus 5x plus 4 equals 0. That's a 0. Now I got to get a product. And we've been doing this for quite some time. It's actually my favorite technique. And what do you get over there? I guess you get 4 and 1 minus minus. Well, that gives you x squared minus 4 minus 1 is minus 5x. That's pretty good, plus 4. What's the answer over here? X equals 1. That's where the first factor becomes 0, or the second factor becomes 0 when X is 4. Could I check this? I sure can. I'm going to go through that with you. Where do you check it? Right here. Let's plug it in. What do you get? 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. That worked. Let's check the next one. 16 plus 4 is equal to 20. That checks. Wow, this is good. Look at the key. What did we use? The zero product rule. Let's go to 3. And again, I realize for some students, this goes really quickly for them. And that's why we put little videos on the side for you. If you need to take more time thinking about this, take more time to think about it. If you want to come back later in the week to watch the video, come back later and watch the video. You need to learn the material though, at the pace that you need to learn it at, okay? All right, let's take a look. And first thing, we want to get a solution to this problem by using a technique called factoring, which is basically just a zero product rule. Let's write this down. So it's going to be 2x squared plus 5x minus 42 is equal to 0. I have my 0. Now I want to get a product. By the way, products are not always possible. What do I mean by that with my finger numbers? But I'm going to try anyway. So we're going to get 2x and x. 42 is a killer though, isn't it? And I'm thinking, well, what could it be? It could be 42 and 1. That seems very unlikely. Could be 7 and 6. Maybe 7 and 6. I'm going to say, when I say maybe, I'm not saying it for sure. But if I say 7 and 6, I would never put the 6 here because then there'd be a factor of 2 common between those. So I'm going to try the 6 here. This is a try. I'm not saying it's going to work. Again, I'm not saying it's working. I'm just saying I'm willing to try it. And this kind of looks reasonable because 2 times 6 is 12 and 7 times x is 7x, and they're different. They differ by 5. So I'm going to try it. I don't know. Let's see if it works. 2x times x, 2x squared. 12 minus 7, 5. That worked. And you do get minus 42. Let's put the answers down for you. The second factor, when does that become 0? When x equals minus 6. If you're struggling for the first factor, just write it down. 2x minus 7 equals 0, which means 2x equals 7, or x equals 7 halves. I'll write that down for you. I realize for a large number of students, they just don't want to check it. I'm just going to go through the check. I know it's difficult. I'm going to try the minus 6. And what do you get? You get 2 times 36. I'm checking it here, by the way. Right, 2 times 36. That's 72. And then it's going to be minus 30. And that certainly equals 42. That's pretty simple. This could be more difficult. And that's 7 halves squared. That's going to be 49 quarters. 49 quarters times 2 is 49 halves. Plus 35 halves. And they said it equals 42. I don't know. What's 49, 35? That's 84. 84. Oh, yeah, it does work. 84 halves is 42. Do they give me the right answers? Yes. 7 halves or minus 6. What are we using? The zero product rule? They're just simply calling it factoring now. All right, let's do number 4, a little more difficult. And I'm going to pull this one aside. First goal, simplify. I got to get a 0, right? So what do you get over here? You get 6x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 2 equals 3x squared minus 15x minus 10. I'm still simplifying. 6x squared minus x minus 2 equals 3x squared minus 15x minus 10. What am I going to do now? Subtract 3x squared from both sides. Add 15x to both sides. And add 10 to both sides. I want to emphasize, though, if you're doing something and things are not going smoothly, you're probably doing something wrong. All right? So again, if you're doing something and it's not going smoothly, you're probably doing something wrong. Things should proceed forward very smoothly here. So what do you get? 3x squared, 14x plus 8 equals 0. Now, what do I mean by smoothly? I'm saying if they said use the factoring or zero product rule, this should work out really nicely. Now, 3x and x is my only choice there. For 8, I would say 2 and 4. Try that. Let's see if it works. 3x times x, 3x squared. 12 and 2 is 14. That worked beautifully, and you get 8. Let's write the answers down now. Well, second factor is really easy. What is it? X equals minus 4. The first factor for some students is a killer. I'll write down for you. When does it equal 0? Take 2 from both sides and divide by 3. Again, I realize for students, this is really tough for them, the checking business. And I'm aware of that. All right, I'm aware that students have a tough time with the arithmetic. All right. Now, if you're on the exam, you're probably just going to, say, oh my God, at least I finished it. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'll wait till the teacher gives it back to me. You can. Most times you'll be right. Sometimes you'll be wrong. However, I want to point this out. When you're doing homework, right, you should definitely look at the answer key. All right, let me go back over that with you. And what's the answer key over here? Let's look at it. It says x equals minus 4. And it says x equals minus 2/3. Right? Did I check it here? No. Could you? Yes. And you may want to do that just to see if you can do the arithmetic. All right, let's go to number 5, a little more difficult. And I want to tell you why it's more difficult. They're giving me solutions to the problems, and then they're asking me what the quadratic equation is. All right, there's a lot of words there right now. What I want to do is just on the side, I'm going to write these solutions down the side now. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. This side over here, I'll come back to this later. And I'm just going to say that I'm working backwards in the problem. So when I work backwards, I know it's tough to work backwards, by the way. So x equals, let's go back to black. X equals 2/3. And then the other one, what's the other solution going to be? Minus 5/7, right? I'm going to work backwards. And what do I do backwards? I guess I would have to get, like it has to be like a factor thing or 0, right? So it's going to be 3x equals 2. This would be 7x equals minus 5. Again, I'm working backwards. And now what do you get? You get 3x minus 2 equals 0. And over here, what would you get? You would get 7x plus 5 equals 0. And again, I'm working backwards to really what the equation was. What equation? It would be these factors. So remember what we did in the past. We use a zero product rule. We had a product equals 0. Then we write the factors down, set them equal to 0, and we would solve. And we get these numbers over here. Now, by the way, they want me to write the equation down. I'll make sure you understand what I mean by that. I'll go back to the words. Whoops. I'll go back to the words. And it says over here, write a quadratic equation down with integer coefficients. Well, I'm getting close. All right. Let me get rid of this thing over here. I'm getting real close. All right. I gotta do this. I gotta multiply it out. I have to multiply this out now. And what do you get? 21x squared plus 15x minus 14x minus 10 equals 0. 21x squared plus x minus 10 equals 0. I think I've done what they asked me to do. Let's see if that's true. Yep, it's right here. I got it. All right. All right, let's go to number 6. And number 6 uses the square root method. I want to point out what the square root method is. It says this. do you have a variable expression being squared equaling a number? And I do. And if that's the case, I could easily write that down now. It's going to be x minus 2 equals, this is the square root method, plus or minus the square root of 25. X minus 2 equals plus or minus, what's square root of 25? It's 5. Let's solve for x. X equals, I'm going to add 2 to both sides, 2 plus or minus 5. What does this mean? X equals 2 plus 5, or x equals 2 minus 5. Well, x could be 7, or x could be minus 3. Let's look at the key, see how we did. Again, you can also check this with the original problem. All right, number 7 is the same exact question, except a different technique. They want me to do it by factoring. What is factoring? Zero product rule. So let's go through that. Sorry, I made a mistake. I'm just multiplying it out. We'll get the same, well, sorry about that. We'll get the same answer. Subtract 25 from both sides. A lot more work though, isn't it? I got the 0. I'm gonna factor it now if I can. Let's see, 21, probably 3 and 7. Minus plus. Let's see if that works. X times x, x squared. 3 minus 7 is minus 4. That worked. And you do get minus 21. What's the answer? X equals 7, or x equals minus 3. All right. Go back, and I think you probably know the answer is the same answer we had before. Couldn't be any different. Let's go to the next page, see what they say. All right. Should be 7 or minus 3. What do you got? 7 or minus 3. All right. Let's repeat this business over here. I know it's difficult though. A lot of people say, I don't need to do that. You do need to do it. You need to really put considerable amount of effort into your studies. All right. What are we talking about? Well, you sat through a lecture. It might have been dry and hard to understand. We went through those examples. Hopefully it illustrated the points in the lecture. And, certainly go through those examples. You say to yourself, I wonder if I could do this on my own. And you should. You should be able to do these problems on your own now. What problems are you talking about? 1, 2, so forth and so on. You work through that. After you're done with that and you have full appreciation for what's presented to you, do the WebAssign, right? Not backwards. Don't do the WebAssign and then say, I'm not going to do anything else. You need to practice. You need to learn the material. All right. Thank you.